morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Well, my nose is running, my face is frozen, and I'm bundled up like an Eskimo, but I'm ready to catch some bass.
Cleaning the graph, I see.
Yeah, we're getting ready for a full day of live scoping here, so getting my units dialed up. There's just a bunch of bait suspended in this main river channel here, and just scoping around looking for the bait, and there seems to be some bass, you know, suspended around them. So, you know, what everyone's doing right now, you know, winding, strolling, whatever, throwing little shad baits at dots. That's what we're doing today.
Julius and I are out here scoping around. We're just chucking the BR Head and the BR Fish here. We got a couple alternative baits as well that we're gonna throw on the back of the BR Head. But it's a cool little bait if you guys haven't heard of it. So they basically took what looks like a darter head and they added these gliding fins on the side, and it gives it this really cool effect when the plastic's rigged correctly to where it glides side to side. It's a crazy, crazy look to it. If you work it right, sometimes you can get to glide 3 to 4 feet out. It's pretty incredible. Even though it's such a simple little rig, just a jig head and a soft plastic, it has an immense amount of drawing power and it's great for scope. So it's definitely gonna be a favorite for those guys that like strolling or winding. It'll fall right into that category.
Did you bite it?
Why?
He's still on it.
Oh, eat it.
Got him? Got him? Yeah. Nice. I'm gonna get in there too while they're all fired up.
Fired up.
Atta baby.
Good
yeah,
one
dude.
too, dude.
Nice.
All right, first bite of the day, winding around. It's really neat. When they get this thing, dude, they have it choked. People think like live scoping and you know this style of technique, you need clear water, but it's pretty dingy. And these fish are still out here chasing the bait, but we can get that guy back. So I switched it up with the watercolor being kind of dirty. I went to that Evergreen Japan Bass Enemy, slid it on that winding head, and they like that little chartreuse color, but I'm gonna get back in there.
Nice,
Sick
dude.
bite. Yeah, dog. Dude, look. Look at this eagle right here.
Look at that thing. That's sick.
That's sick.
There you go.
Good one.
Good one. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Get in there.
Sweet.
BR Fish, baby.
Heck yeah. This is a fun bite, man. All right. All pale white, but
Cold.
solid. Nice one. Yeah.
Nice, dude.
And that Bass Enemy stick.
Was he up suspended or is he towards the bottom?
Up suspended, just, you know, these fish, like we're in like 30 feet, but,
Yeah.
you know, these shad balls, I want to say, are probably, you know, in like 25, a little closer to the bottom, but the majority of the fish that we're actually getting to bite are nowhere near the bait. They're, you know, maybe singles or doubles that are maybe only 10 feet down in the water column. So they're kind of riding up, looking down is kind of what I'm seeing. Here's that bait I'm using. It's just a Bass Enemy stick by Evergreen Japan. A couple different sizes. I want to say 3, 4, and 5 inch.
Yep, in the Bass Enemy
So
stick, yeah.
it's a perfect little shad profile, and we're using it on this BR head today. That's the color I'm using. Just a nice like chartreuse shad, but there's another solid one. They come in a bunch of good colors, but just another good one to add to your scope arsenal. I've also been kind of cutting just a little piece off, just a little bit so it's flat and it takes the head a little bit better. That looks pretty damn tasty, CJ. Evergreen and Japan soft plastics have such a unique smell to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it smells like?
What does it smell like?
It's like, maybe I'm getting like pork rinds
Pork rinds?
and then Doritos.
Doritos. I think
Yeah,
you're
like
just hungry.
sweet chili Doritos maybe.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go fishing now.
that's the best flavor. Oh, got a hot one. Crappie.
Crap eye. It's a slab.
That's a slab.
Should we be keeping them?
Oh, maybe. A good little paper mouth.
Big crappie.
No.
Got him fired up, dude. Sweet.
Putting on a clinic.
It's just what I do, CJ. And wishes he could forward face like I did.
Forward face like I do. Oh shit.
All right. That's how they're supposed to get it.
Gone.
Sick. 8 up. Nice one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's get him back. Woo.
No. Oh no, get back in there. Are you feeling the bite when they're eating it?
Yeah, they either slackline it or you just, you know, kind of like a jig and spin, like next time you go to pop it,
It's just there.
it's just there. But I'm seeing them pretty much eat it, so.
Yeah, you can put 2 and 2 together.
Like that. Sick. That was dope.
You watch them eat everything.
Everything.
We're literally just talking about like what
Yeah.
it feels like on the bite, and you're like, usually I just see him eat it, and then it's like slackline. You're like, oh, like that.
No, this setup's nice. Super comfortable to fish. It's bougie. It looks cool. It shakes really nice. Dude,
Works.
I'm having fun. Having so much fun, brother.
That was sick, brother. That was cool.
Hell yeah. Chewing it up.
And the BR fish.
Yeah. Let's get that thumbnail.
Yes, sir.
We're out here on the edge of this big flat, and these fish are positioned off the edge of it, kind of suspended chasing bait. So if you look at my screen, there's a bunch of bait balls out in this area, and there's fish high in the water column above them. There's fish, you know, underneath, and there's all kinds of stuff out here, you know, multi-species eating these shad. But a lot of these bass will kind of get out and roam and kind of get pelagic and chase this bait fish around. So a really good way to target them is this BR head from Duo. Super cool technique. It's literally the only one on the market that does what this does. Unlike a traditional darter head, it will like walk, you know, through the water column. So you can cast it out through them and then kind of walk it through, and it will dart through these fish. Or you can drop it straight down vertical like you would at, you know, Demiki rig or something. And when you pop it, instead of it just kind of, you know, doing one of these, it will still dart on the straight up and down. So super unique, you know, head and design. And you've heard Griff talk about it. He's had a lot of time with it, but it's just a neat deal.
It's a pretty cool bait. It's crazy how like kind of originated in saltwater, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys were winding in saltwater, and that technique kind of came from there. And it got popular here, and then this was introduced, and it's a totally different look in that category. To give a fish a different look, you know, you might be able to convince fish that are a little more stubborn.
Yeah.
There's just snapping in their face, but it's cool. It's got movement down there.
It triggers them for sure.
Yep.
So
Show me on the screen, bro. Let's see how this thing looks.
you see my bait going down. I'm just targeting those suspended fish like that, and what I'll do is I'll get it right above them, and I'll give my rod a couple snaps. And what that does is going to give you that darting action, that side to side that you're kind of looking for.
You can really see the thing moving.
For sure. It's got a lot of action.
Kind of spirals down too as it falls. It's got like slow spiral.
And these fish, you know, they either do one of two things. That darting action gets them to, you know, come way out of the cone and shoot over and bite it, or it's almost too much for them, right? Like they either do one thing or the other. They go away from it or they go at it and eat it. So it's kind of like, you know, creating a reaction bite. But before forward facing sonar, we would use, you know, just our 2D and get out, and you'd see the bait balls, right? And then the marks underneath. So you drop like your Demiki rig down and just kind of hold it through them, or a jigging spoon. That's essentially what we're doing. But instead of just only fishing it vertical, with this technique, you can throw through them, you know, and now that we're able to see out, you know, up 100, 120 feet.
You can control it.
Right, and you present it a completely different way than they're used to seeing. It's pretty cool. But this is a technique, too, that, you know, if you don't fish from a boat, and, you know, this isn't something that you guys can't use. Like, if you guys are fishing ponds or rivers and stuff, you can fish this shallow without, you know, letting it sink. So if I throw it out there, and you have fish schooling around, or maybe you have, like, you know, a lay down tree, there's nothing that says you can't just give it that popping motion, and it's gonna be almost like a soft plastic jerkbait style, right? So you don't have to fish this on your electronics. You can just cast it around, and it's got good action.
It holds its depth pretty well. Like when you twitch it, it doesn't twitch down, it twitches up and then like rotates back down, so you can kind of hold your depth. Like we've been watching it on the screen all day, and if there's we're sitting out in 37 feet of water, but if there's a fish like we've seen today where they're like 10 foot down, you can cast it out past them, let it sink to like 12 foot, and then you just start jigging it, and it'll kind of rise up to them really slowly, and you can control that depth to like target that fish. You don't have to worry about it sinking too fast down. For sure. And obviously the right sized head helps with that, like going lighter or heavier. Yeah. But, dude, if you're a pond guy, I don't see a single reason why you couldn't take like 3, 5 gram, even 7 gram. And if you talk to Griff, he even goes heavier, and just find like, oh, there's a tree that's laying down in the water, and fire it over there and shake it. It's gliding so much side to side, it doesn't move a lot like towards you. So you can kind of keep it in that zone a little longer. Super unique. I mean, you can fish this from, you know, a couple feet of water to out where, you know, we're at 50, 60. So pretty neat deal. Still learning about it, but I like it. And, you know, as stuff keeps evolving, you know, we're going to need more techniques like this, and I think this one's here to stay. Yeah, absolutely. Oh. Yeah, dude, nice. Sick. That was so cool. Oh, not a bad one. Oh, no. Oh, dude. Should have grabbed him. Oh, no. All right, guys, just wrapped up a super fun day of fishing out here with my boy CJ. We brought a new technique that is just taking the industry by storm. Super popular in Japan right now, and it's leaking into the US, and that is winding. You guys have seen our video before. Jeff and Griff did a phenomenal job of explaining that. So we wanted to get out on the water and you know, show you guys how it works, and you know, how it looks on the electronics and stuff, and get some fish catches. So it was really cool. I learned a lot about it today, and it's a really, you know, great tool to add to that forward-facing sonar lineup. Yeah. So I'm stoked about it. Absolutely. It's a sick presentation for that category, you know? Heck yeah. I thought, even though I was behind the camera most of the day, I thought I'd just jump in for you guys real quick and share some of my insight and what I've learned. Last year, I was fortunate to go to the Duo factory itself and watch them work this bait in the tank. And they were teaching us a lot about the bait as they were working it. And it was really eye-opening to hear straight from the source. I felt like it was just really just golden knowledge that you need to know to fish this bait. I mean, it looks very simple. It's essentially just a jig head with a soft plastic on the back. For sure. But when you look closer, there's a lot more that's going on. So essentially what you have here is just a darter head style with these 2 little fins on there. And what those 2 little fins help the bait to do is glide. So you got a couple things going on. You got a 90-degree line tie on there. You got like this bullet shaped head, and then you got those gliding fins on the side. And paired with the right soft plastic, you can get this really wide, nice gliding motion. In the tank, when I was watching them, they were gliding at like 3 to 4 feet. That's awesome. Yeah, it was crazy watching them work the bait. I'll add this, you know, we're fishing for suspended fish, right, in the wintertime. So this is just a really unique action that those fish aren't really used to seeing, and it just grabs their attention, man. It's really cool to see on the screen, for sure. Yeah, it's completely different. What's really unique about this bait is not only did they make this special jig head here, but they made a unique bait for the jig head called the BR Fish. So you got the BR head matched with the BR Fish here, and at first glance it looks like a little fluke style bait. Yeah. It's got a flat top to it and a round belly, and it looks simple, but that's actually really key. So, like I said, with those gliding fins on there, if you take the BR fish and you flip it what looks like upside down with that flat surface,
face down, that's what'll give it that really nice gliding motion. Now, if you take it and flip it the other way with that round belly, you'll get a little bit, but it's more of a finesse presentation. It's more meant to be swam, is what they were telling us there.
More finesse.
Yeah, exactly. So it's cool because, like, say like today we had some fish that were pretty high in the water column, and we threw it like this at them and we're gliding it past them. They weren't super interested. You could just take the same bait, the same presentation, flip it around, and then throw something a little more finesse.
That's really cool. You get, you know, multiple packages in one. You know, to just take the same bait and make one little adjustment and it do a different action. And what I think is really neat, they just took something that's been around forever, right? Just a straight tail plastic, and they added, you know, that flat back, and then they took a regular style darter head and they added those glide fins, and boom, you have a whole new genre of lure. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, exactly. It was already tried and true. They put their little flair on it, and now it's just taking the industry by storm. It's a super effective, versatile technique. If you guys haven't tried it before, definitely give it a try. It's, I mean, with what's going on with all the trends in bass fishing right now, I mean, it's fitting so well.
Dude, it ain't going away from me, I'll promise you that.
This is gonna claim a lot of fish. So the BR Fish, of course, is the bait that's meant for it, but you can get away with other soft plastics as well. So like today, we mixed and matched a little bit, and we just thought we would throw some alternatives. The baits that we chose is just kind of alternative baits, are kind of specific. You, like I said, you want something with that flat back on it and the round belly to get that glide. So the two that we went with, this is the Evergreen Bass Enemy Stick, and it looks kind of funky. You got this thing on the front, but the big thing is it's got a flat belly on it, and it's got this little pintail. So you absolutely want a little straight tail on there. You don't want a little paddle tail, because you're not going to get as much glide out of the bait.
It's going to overpower it.
Yeah, exactly. And like you were saying today, you were taking this little guy off here and then cutting it.
Yeah, I was just pulling that off and then cutting the nose up, and it just slides on there really well. Another thing I learned too, and I'm glad you were on the boat today, because this is a fairly new technique to me, is you added that you don't thread the bait perfectly on, right? You add a little bit of a kink, and that kink, you know, he's going to show you guys right now, really changed the action, you know, because it was already gliding, but it really got out there and cut when you added that. And I think that's a key feature that, you know, you should definitely talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I think maybe if you want like less of a glide, you can thread it like normal, just like how you would thread any other swim bait onto a jig head. You just run it right through the middle, line it up with the hook shank, and you're good to go. But like Julius was saying, if you want that extra wide glide like the bait was intended for, how it's supposed to be rigged is with this little bit of, I guess you could say, like this little bit of hang on the back here. So you can see the bend of the hook there isn't sticking straight out of the back like a normal swim bait on a jig head would be. It's actually cut short. So when you're threading this on there, you thread it a little bit short. That way that hook, there's an exaggerated look at that. That hook pokes up like this, and this bait hangs on the back, and that'll give you that key glide.
Yeah, and I noticed it, like, because I just threaded it on normal, and then CJ showed me that trick, and when I adjusted it, it'll cut out crazy, and then it almost does like a backspin to the next motion. When before it was doing this, now it would do this and then like cut back, and then like, you know, when it would get straight, they'd shoot up and bite it.
Yep, exactly. So it's super effective. Like I said, one of the baits that we're throwing was the Bass Enemy Stick by Evergreen. Another one, a tried and true that you guys all know, the O.S.P DoLive Stick. That's a great one because it's got that flat back on there, round belly. It's that perfect size for the jig head. Usually you're living in like that 3.5 to 4 inch range, give or take. Paired up with that jig head, it's a pretty deadly combo. Now you have lots of options with the head too. They range anywhere from 3 to 14 grams. So if you're a guy that likes to fish shallow, likes to fish from the bank, you can target structure off the bank and you can work something shallow. Or if you're a guy doing like what we were doing today, you could even go up to like the 9, 12, 14 gram head and get deeper. So pretty effective.
Yeah, I mean, we were using it on spinning gear today, but I could definitely see where those, you know, bigger heads at, you know, 12, 14 gram, you could definitely throw it on casting gear.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got a stout hook on there too, so you can, you know, lay the wood on them there too.
And I noticed, man, like, there wasn't any hesitation when they decided to eat this thing, and when they get it so well. They got a really good hook on this thing, and when they're pinned, they're pinned. Yeah,
absolutely. So with that being said, before we wrap it up here, we'll just run you guys through a couple options for gear to throw these guys. We were mainly sticking to 3 sticks today. Julius was rocking, there you go, I'll hand this one to you and you can explain your thoughts on that one a little bit. And then I was throwing this guy So go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, so I was bouncing between 2 rods today, 2 different heads. So again, I'm kind of getting a feel for it, trying to figure out what I like. The first rod I was using was a Rage Stride, new rod to me, just first impression. It looks beautiful, it feels really light and comfortable to make those short little accurate, roll casts with these fish. So I think as far as action, it's similar to like maybe a Demiki rig rod or maybe like a strolling rod. You want like medium light to maybe medium with that soft tip so you can really get that right snapping action. You're not overpowering it, and if one eats it on slack, you don't just pull into them and miss them. So again, just a really cool all-around badass rod.
Yeah, they're sick. I mean, ever since Ray dropped those, we got them into the shop. I mean, they're sexy rods.
Yeah,
like
so comfy too.
And they're functional too. They look great, they're light, they're functional. Definitely a good option for this style of bait.
Yeah.
The other one you're running, here you go.
My trusty Steed here. I love this rod. Daiwa Steez USA Finesse Game Special. You guys see me use this rod for so many different techniques. It's my go-to drop shot rod. Just another thing to add to the list that this rod does absolutely perfect. Again, this is just my everyday spinning rod, but nothing crazy there. You guys know this rod, and just same deal. I was just throwing the heavier head on this rod.
That's what I was going to ask. That one's a little bit longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer, and it's, more of like a USA medium light, a little bit stiffer, but you still get that tip. That Raid rod is going to be a little bit softer, more of a Japanese style medium light.
Gotcha. So for lighter weights, maybe go with that Raid rod, and then for heavier rods, go with the Steez.
That's right. So I just bounced back and forth. I went 9 gram and 7 gram, and if they were down deeper in those bait balls, I picked up the 9. If they were up higher in the water column, I got that 7 out and went to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last rod, not rigged up because I broke mine off earlier, but was the Flyssa. I was rocking that most of the day. A little longer rod than the other two that we were talking about here, but I mean, the Flyssa is just a tried and true rod, has that similar action that we were talking about, and it just threw those. I think with this rod, you could probably get away with those lighter sizes even, just because of the action of the rod itself. Right,
you have that length that allows it to actually throw it, you know, and I think that like 3 gram is going to be good for when those fish are super, super high up, almost schooling. You're going to be able to, keep that thing on top, basically.
True, absolutely. So maybe for like a vertical presentation, go with the Raid, something a little bit shorter that you can just drop right off the nose of the boat and you can shake.
Exactly.
And if they're schooling, you need to bomb a cast and really work that thing, go with a little bit more.
What's neat too is, when you're looking out there, there's fish, all the way out to like 100 feet out, or there's some under, and you can make that long cast and work through them. If those don't bite, it ends up underneath the boat, and like you're still working the same bait. Like it's not with some baits where once they get kind of vertical, it's hard to fish it. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, these rods make it pretty easy as far as the cadence goes. Like you're just casting it out there, and you're just popping the rod, right? You're just got this nice rhythmic pop, and that's just causing the bait to glide side to side. And it's pretty important to have the right action in the rod, the right tip and everything to be able to get that cadence, to get the glide.
Yeah, we went with lighter line today. I don't know, if heavier line affects the action, but we stayed in that, 7-8 pound range. Not that these fish are line shy, it's just a finessier technique, and that's kind of where we landed, but just 8 pound sniper, and it was working great.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Well, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope these tips and tricks helped you out. I also want to say thank you for watching the last video that we posted on the BR Head as well. Like Julie said, Griff and Jeff broke it down immaculately, and you guys gave them a lot of love, so we appreciate that.
Heck yeah.
We hope this on the water course helps you guys out so you can see it physically on the water and see it on the graph and how it's working. I had a great day. We caught some bass.
It was awesome. I had a blast, bro.
Thanks, brother.
Heck yeah.
Take care.
Thank you guys. Later. Peace.